Hey, what's up guys, it's T-Bone here and welcome back to another episode of playing Legendary Game of Heroes. So War in the Wasteland is the upcoming Dark Commander event, and based on their advertisement here, get the new Charge Up Nuke deck, suggests that this is a deck with a new mechanic again. So let's go ahead and take a look at the video that the network team has prepared, and let's go ahead and watch the video so we can see what the mechanic is like. So as usual, this type of video, it contains the best deck setup as well as the base deck, which is more of a budget-friendly deck. So we're going to take a look at both of them, but let's take a look at this one for now for the mechanics. So this deck consists of two ultra rare cards on the left side, a master collection in the middle, followed by the event card and then the support card. You can see that on the first turn there's no power gems created, so we know that the relic is not going to create power gems based on number of dark gems. I suspect it creates dark power gems based on the number of power gems on the board, and as we can see, that's what happened. The ultra rare card creates power gems, and the support card will create dark gem, and the master card as well as the event card will have this mechanic where it stores damage and then it unleashes it after a couple of turns. And so right now what you're seeing is we're basically hitting the boss like we normally would, and when basically we're charging up and we're waiting for the visual cue that the cards have finished charging up, and you can see right now where it has says fully charged. So this is a visual indication that the deck is now ready. Those cards are ready to unleash the damage as stored up, and you can see right now we're at 89 billion. Take a look at this upcoming series of sequence of attacks here, where you're going to see the attack by the main card followed by the attack by the master collection card. Now let's go back and look at it again, because that went by pretty fast. So you can see 40 billion damage being dealt by the event card, and then more than 50 billion damage dealt by the master collection card. So this is just the power of the nuke there. It's not a single nuke based on intensity, but it's actually the nuke based on the previous damage. So it's a kind of a double-edged sword there. If you didn't actually build up any damage, then you're not gonna have as good of a nuke. Whereas some of the other older nuke cards that's based on intensity, that's a guarantee. You're guaranteed to have a higher damage output the longer the fight goes. And so this is an interesting mechanic, and you can see it's really powerful, but you need to make sure you can deal a lot of damage first. Now this is the base deck here that contains the event card and two support cards. Guardian of Gaul, which is an ultra rare card from a previous dark corrupt event, and Almar Ascended. Now Guardian of Gaul is a good card to create dark power gems based on number of dark gems on the board, but it's not as an accessible card to everyone. And also Almar doesn't really fit as well in here, just because he doesn't create any power gems. He does create one, but once every 4 turns, so he's not as useful. And so I actually think that we could probably look for other alternatives there. I think Sobek is actually not going to be a bad option in this case, just because he's also a collection card. And you can see here that the support card, in addition to generating intensity and generating dark gem, it also will heal. So this is like the Nighthawk from the Dark Dread deck. So this is a really good card to have. And let's go and see how much damage we're able to deal near the end here, and then we will slide off here. So looks like we're able to actually deal based on this about a third of the damage. Almost close to about a third, a little closer to half, I would say. So that was actually not bad based on that output there. And I think that if we put some other cards in there, we could probably do even better against Ascended Alien. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the cards themselves. Now we're just going to quickly look at these cards to kind of look at some of the descriptions of the cards, because they're harder to see visually. And then we're going to do we're going to go and summon a silver boss so we can take it down, and I can see if I can get a soul there. And then we're going to also try a kill versus kill fight. So let's take a look at the cards here. First, I wanted to show you the main card, which is Engineer Exenka. And so you can see here the battle skill Sure Sight Blast. This is the nuke. It essentially is a nuke, but it depends on how much damage you've stored. And the passive here, where every time the hero does damage, it will store 100% of the damage. Okay, so whatever damage it deals, it will store 100% of it. The question that I have right now is whether it stores 100% of the damage by the card itself, or if it stores 100% of the damage by the team, because that makes a very big difference. It counters Trader, so you know that Trader is going to be one of the main boss skills there. And then let's take a look at the support card. So this card, I'm not really going to spend too much time explaining this, because where you saw it creates dart gems, just like Domi and Nighthawk and all those cards, Guru Pachecept, and it also heals. All right, so this is a really good card to have, and my recommendation here is if you get this card, if you only have 1 or 2 of these cards, if you only have 2, don't awaken it so that you leave yourself with just 1 card. Make sure you have at least 4 copies of this card before you decide to awaken, because having 3 of these cards will guarantee that you're never going to lose any health. You can also do it 2, depends on the rest of your deck, but having 3 is a good bet. And so I would not want you to waste your cards by awakening or dusting this card, because this is actually one of the useful cards you can have. And now let's take a look at the ultra rare card. So the ultra rare has a very, I want to make sure I explain as well, because the ultra rare doesn't create more power gems every turn. What it will do is it will create 2 power gems for now and for the next turn. So it's guaranteed to create a power gem, 2 power gems every turn. But then depending on your intensity, you can add the number of turns for a maximum of 5 turns. So you can basically create for, the wording is interesting here. I would imagine basically you can create 2 power gems for 5 turns. Okay, but it only has a 2-turn cooldown. So that means on the second turn, you basically skip 1 turn, and the very next turn you can go ahead and activate this again, so that you could actually double up. So you can stack your own battle skill to create power gems. So in a way you can create more, but it only happens if you activate it multiple times. Just by acting it once, you're only ever going to be guaranteed 2 power gems per card, but you're going to get more turns the higher intensity you get. And this is also a damage booster. So when you get fully charged event card or the master collection card, you will you'll boost 70% in damage, and it will stack too. So theoretically, if you're running 1 event card and for master collection, for example, you'll boost the damage by 300%. And so that is those cards. And if we take a look at the master collection, it's the same thing as the event card, except there's 2 main things I want to call out. First one is this will store 150% of damage instead of 100%. So this is already giving you a 1.5%, basically 1.5 times the amount of damage you're actually dealing, and it deals back in 3 turns. And then also the leader skill here is very interesting. We're back down to 300% instead of the 400%, and the heroes any hero or any relic that passively generate intensity will get 20% more. So if you run 5 relics, you're essentially getting 100% additional output of all your intensity, which is absolutely huge. So let's say, for example, you're running a dark, the dark Mondo Nighthill deck that requires Dren intensity. Simply by running this, having this card as the leader and then having 5 relics, you're doubling your intensity, which is the most important thing when you're going up against like a legend boss. So if you get this card, he is going to be a really good leader card to have. So how is this as a deck? I think that this deck has really good potential, but the thing I'm curious about is long-term potential, meaning as this deck goes into a 60-second fight, because the damage output depends on the total damage that you can deal, and the damage isn't based on intensity, that means you need to depend on power gem creation. And so power gem creation is going to come from your ultra rare cards. And so running 1 ultra rare in this particular deck isn't going to give you a full board of it. So you might need to run a couple. And so it's, and also if you happen to have a few bad matches, then your output is going to be bad for that turn. So, it's interesting, but I think it's not, it remains to be seen, I guess, because I haven't seen a 60-second clock fight, but that will be the only thing that comes to mind. I think it's fun, it's good, just curious about that. Now let's go ahead and collect some runes as well. So I have these 3 cards. We'll talk about them as well a little bit. Okay. I'm guaranteed to have a duplicate here because I opened 1. Let's see what we get for the second one. And good. And then let's take a look at the 3rd card here. And this happened last time too. So you can see I already have duplicates as well. And I swear I think it was like the similar one. So unfortunate, but hopefully I'll get more better luck in the free collections later. I had to smelt last time, and I don't have the ability to do so this time. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed there. And so let's go ahead and do a quick silver boss fight, actually, because I want to make sure that I get a soul if I can. And I'm going to showcase a team that I've set up here for anybody who is usually using budget decks. Where's my boss? I summoned him, right? Okay, let's go to the battle. Okay, here it is. So we're now looking at a level 3 Ozomatli. So keep in mind that every time you defeat a boss, it doesn't reset the level will continue to go up. And so the deck that I'm going to run here is based on the previous event that uses a 3 support card and the 2 cards for the 2 Summertime Aphrodite. Now let's go ahead and use the 3 keys here. Why not? Because we only have 1 boss to fight. So the thing here is, every event you're only going to get 25 of these silver tokens. And so really, I'm not really going to be able to do more than 1 fight unless they introduce PvP again. That's another way to get the battle to get those tokens. And so, I'm just going to use the 3 keys here. So because I don't have rate, I'm not using rate right now. I have to get through the armor, but there's only 35. So basically, if you can attack constantly, then really you're going to be able to get this in 7 turns. And so just go ahead and take advantage of the fact that the support card here will also basically destroy gems. And so you're going to have a highly increased likelihood of getting water gems next to each other, so that you'll be able to connect them and take down the armor. And so just 1 more turn there, and then we're going to be able to clear the armor. So we'll go ahead and do that. And also at this point, I can activate everything. And I think what I actually want to do is I'm going to activate everything here. And the way you want to play this deck is you want to, use the battle skill from the support cards to drop as many, water gems as possible. Then you can go ahead and activate the Aphrodite cards for a maximum number of power gems and also gems total on the board. And then basically do a match. And then you should be able to take out the boss pretty easily at this point. Let's see how much damage we can deal there. So yeah, so each card dealt 82 million. And so we can take this boss down pretty easily. But that's not really the goal here. The goal is to see what rewards we get. So let's see what we get here. So got a legend crystal shard. So that's really good because I need that in order to power up my legend relics there. I have seen people get other shards that are used for forging the legend relic itself, like ascending or enchanting raised staff or something. So it is possible. Yeah, I just didn't get lucky there. And now we're at 13 minutes. What I wanted to do is showcase just really quickly a guild versus guild deck that I'm using to take down bosses. So this is taking advantage of Mondo Nighthill as a damage dealer. Starcaller Warrior is a card that you can't farm, unfortunately, and so I'm hoping that this card will be available in the store, and you can get them for 10 tokens. Keep this card, don't dust it. It's really hard to get. Keep this, if you get it, keep it. If you can get 2, awesome. If not, 1 is also fine. I'm using Paradigm Mothership for 2 purposes. One is to dispel Flatline, and then the other is to also use as a turn delayer. So I have basically 2 turn delayers here, and then I have Nighthawk to do gem creation. I also brought in Thrall to do additional gem creation as I need. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and practice against myself, and I can show you how this works. Now, given that the dispel rate isn't a guarantee, okay, so I'm going up against a warden, and with my warden as a dispeller, I only have 60% chance of success in this case. And if I'm able to succeed in dispelling, then I wouldn't have any problems. And I'm going to show you how to properly set up this type of deck. And so the first thing is, you want to make sure that you can generate at least 20 gems on the board to power up Star Caller, because that's the number of gems it takes in order to power up. So it's not a typical card that requires only 9 gems to activate or less. This will actually require 20. So now that I've dispelled Flatline, that's good, because then I can revive using Mondo Nighthill. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to activate Nighthawk, because I want to make sure that I can get gems matched every turn. And then obviously activate the 2 skills there to do turn delay. And then activate Mondo. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait just one turn before I actually activate Thrall, because I want to have just a little bit more gems to power up my Star Caller. And right now, I think we have 3 turns. So I can actually wait one more turn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to wait one last turn, and then Thrall is going to be able to activate. I'm going to be able to activate Thrall and get a basically maximum number of gems, so that I will be able to use the last turn. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to be able to definitely get enough power gems to power up my Star Caller, and my Mothership is also going to be available at this time. But before I actually do anything, what I'm going to do before you hit Mondo, activate a Nighthawk to get more power gems on the board. If you can, if you're lucky, you could have gotten 3, and then activate, because you want to get 3 power gems if possible. So you can get 3 power gems, then you can activate 3 of them. And then basically just kind of rinse and repeat. I'm just going to do this real quick because I think I'll be able to finish this relatively fast. So let's go ahead and do some swaps here. So you can see the number of gems now is increasing. And I'm going to try and also keep my power gems if I can. Because like I said, I want to try and have more if I can. And let's go ahead and activate Thrall. So now I have 3 power gems on the board. If I activate Thrall, you can see that I'm almost there. And sometimes when the gem drops is lucky, I can actually get the, I can get my power gems to be safe, so I don't actually use them all up. Again, let's go ahead, and I'm actually going to wait a little bit. So I'm going to create this power gem here, because what I want to do is I want to wait until my Star Caller is available. So when you're almost ready to take on the boss, make sure that your delayer actually has the battle skill activated. Don't take out the boss when you have no battle skill available, because at this point, if you don't have it, then you're not going to be able to delay the boss, and you're going to unfortunately lose the fight. And so that's, and then so basically rinse and repeat at this point. So I'm going to stop at this point because I just wanted to show the basic mechanics of it in case this is something that you're curious about. That's how I play my deck, and hopefully this is something that works for you. So that is all for this episode. Tomorrow, when the event starts, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at some of the decks. I have an idea of what I would like to use, and definitely, hopefully, will include the Master Collection card. If not, it's going to use at least its support cards. So that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Take care.